I say this
Big
to
fan
you
of Vivek.
just as a fellow citizen who wants to see you succeed and achieve your dreams. The more likely, the more
That's what
you
I'm
view
talking about.
yourself as a victim, the more likely you are to be one. The more you view yourself as empowered, the more likely you are to be empowered. I want you to be empowered. I don't want you to see a world in which there's some invisible lines of hierarchy based on race or gender and that you're being discriminated against, because the more you see the world that way, the more likely you are not to achieve your dreams. Versus if you look at the world and see the world that I see, and this is what America offers, to say that you have your own God-given talents, how are you going to be able to achieve the maximum of your potential? I promise you, nobody is going to stop you in modern America because of your skin color. It's just not going to happen.
I've seen this question pop up a few times now on Twitter of, when was America great? And to me, it started on this date called July 4th, 1776, on the founding of America. And I think we've been great since then. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Do we have systemic issues? Yes. Do we have a corrupt government? Seemingly very much so. The American people, have we gotten better decade over century as a society, as a community? I think so. And I think that's why so many immigrants flee to America to seek asylum, because we have a few things that the world absolutely doesn't have. And freedom of speech is such a beautiful thing. Our Constitution is such a beautiful thing. And it seems like, and I don't want to be, extreme here, but it seems like our Constitution may be at jeopardy. And guess what? We're the only country like ours. There's nobody going to send us aid. No one's going to send us help. It's literally up to us to save our Constitution. And it seems like people are so willing to throw it away and say, no, we need a new one. And Vivek debates with this woman, and I really like how Vivek debates, because he doesn't antagonize, he doesn't insult, he just presents the facts and is very respectful. I really appreciate how he does this, because even I have fallen victim to antagonizing the left. A lot of my videos, looking back at it, I'm not completely proud of how I've reacted, because I want to lead by example, right? I want to be an example of, hey, even though we can have difference of opinions, I want to be able to smile, shake your hands, have some laugh, we can find some common ground and move on. Even if I don't agree with what you're spewing out of your mouth at that moment, because we are not our ideas.
To you, being a man of color, when exactly was America great? What period was America great? And if America was great in that period, would you personally go back to it?
Would I go back to 2016 through 2020 in this country? I would. Actually, I think America was great then.
And why do you think America was great?
Was America great for most of our national history? I think we were, actually. I think America was great.
During slavery, during redlining, Jim Crow laws, civil rights movement.
In spite of all of those things she's naming, yes.
I think, was America perfect? No. Was America great? Yes, it was, actually. I actually do think it was.
See, this is what
extreme that you're jumping, because when exactly was America great? America is not great for the African American woman. America is not great for.
I think there's.
Like what? Are we
can I ask you one question? What's your name?
I'm Felicia.
Felicia. What other country for an African American woman is better than the United States of America?
Well, I live in the United States of America, so I only want to talk about the United States of America.
Right, exactly. So what country, when I talk about whether America is great, I'm not talking about whether America is perfect.
Well, that's why I'm confused, because when was America great for somebody like me? You just told me
I think America's been great.
Yeah, so I think America great. You just told me where somewhere else that America was great.
Yeah.
You have to compare it, right? Because if you're just saying America's ass, what is the comparison to? Are you comparing us to Russia? Are you comparing us to China? Where?
So you just told me basically
Taiwan?
that it wasn't great for me.
I think America is the greatest country on planet Earth for you.
How?
That's what I believe.
How?
That's what I believe. Because this is a country where you can achieve the maximum of your God-given potential by working hard.
I am an African-American woman still facing institutional.
This is my frustration with debates like this, is Vivek is trying to answer this question and she just keeps butting in, but how?
Systematic racism.
I don't believe that
yes, I am.
to be true right now.
I am.
There are points in our history where that was true.
Yes,
I think today
Yeah.
you are free to
and
achieve.
I would like to talk about how people
Who is the
like
number
to bring up affirmative action as well.
Well, let me just address your first point. Let me just address your first point.
It really ain't
I think this is the country on earth where you're able to achieve the maximum of your potential without your skin color standing in your way. This is a country where
that's not true.
It is, and in fact, almost skin color gets in the way now of the forced DEI, because people who do deserve positions aren't getting positions because of certain quotas not being met. I think that is a crazy thing, and I think Vivek's absolutely right. There's so many people who have started from the bottom, and now they're here. They've literally like sped run through, you know, like American hierarchy. You can see this with 15-year-olds who are making millions of dollars online now. There's different ways to become successful in this country, and to me, it should not be predicated by your sex, your age, or your orientation. It's just about your ability to get shit done.
I believe it is true.
That's not true.
What are you
America,
What are you unable to
Bank of
achieve,
America,
ma'am? Felicia,
Wells
what can you?
Fargo, they
Felicia,
literally- all
what
of
do
these
you
other
wish to
banks
achieve?
just got sued
I'm saving
for
that
not
one.
Giving home loans to African American people. That happened in 2024.
So
Let
me just ask you,
That is
what do you
the so-called lower of the property value.
So let me tell you, as a Felicia,
And its ramifications
Donald
of
Trump is
when
running
a
for-
certain somebody was president.
So I'm
Donald
saying, let
Trump
him
is
speak.
running to make America first a reality for all Americans. Let me ask you something very personal, because you made it personal to you. What do you want to achieve in this country that you believe you can't right now because somebody else is stopping you because of your race?
Well, right now, as my future career, I want to be a criminal defense attorney.
Okay.
However, as we can acknowledge, there's only 5% of black lawyers in the United States at this current moment.
My question
So
to you is, what
I'm
are you
asking
unable to
why
achieve?
is
Because
that
I
the
think you can
case?
achieve
Why
that.
is
I
that the
believe in
case?
you. I believe in you
Girl, I
to
believe in me
achieve
too.
that.
I'm just saying, why is that the case?
And the numbers,
But
because
why is that
I
the
believe the
case?
number.
Truthfully, look at how many black young women want to do that role that she's doing. Is there a whole lot of them? Maybe not. And maybe it's growing. And that's why there's only 5%, is because there hasn't been a large interest in it. And as generations grow, as you know, new kids come in and new kids grow, and those kids grow and you know, chase their dreams and whatnot, we're going to see different jobs be, how do I say this, filled by different kinds of people, different walks of life that are naturally more inclined to the things that they want to do. Is being a, you know, like a congressional lawyer something that interests young black girls right now? I don't know.
Number one factor.
Why is that the case?
I believe the number one factor that determines
Why is
whether
that
you
the case?
succeed in this country is not your
But
skin color.
why is
It is
that
whether
the
or not
case?
you actually
Why
put in
is
the
that
effort to do what you
case?
want.
Yeah, but if you're fighting against an institutionalized system that's going to hold you down, how exactly can you
Look,
go against that?
I think that there is far greater.
There's a case for 5% of them to be black now. It's just get in, be good. There, you can't say it's not there if there's already some level of representation. And guess what? If it's that way now, it can only go up, right?
Discrimination in this country by employers against employees on the basis of their political beliefs than there is on the basis
They
of their
don't
race.
know your political
I actually
beliefs
think that
unless you express them.
Well, that's if somebody
They don't know them. How are you
so
being judged
I
on
would
your
tell you,
political views?
I worked in New York
Like,
City for
my
10
thing-
years.
Yeah.
If somebody wears that red hat, Make America Great Again, and walks in, they're going to face more discrimination than somebody who walks in with black skin. I think that's actually true.
No, they're not.
I think it's true,
No,
actually.
they're not. No, they're
It
not.
wasn't always true. I mean, there's
I think-
points in our history where the reverse
But
was true,
look,
absolutely,
you
but not right
support
now.
Trump. I don't see you wearing a Make America Great Again hat, but what I'm saying is,
Nice, Vivek. That Felicia just gave him the easiest layup. God damn.
that's great you did a costume change, but what I'm saying is, prior to that, you did not have that on.
She's
Prior
trying
to
to
that, you
dunk.
didn't have that on. So me perceiving you, I'm perceiving you as a man. I'm not perceiving you as a MAGA supporter, Trump supporter, XYZ. I don't
is a
perceive
person.
you as that until you tell me that is. So how can you say that somebody's being judged on their political views unless you
I
make
can
those
tell you
political
why.
views known?
I can tell you why.
That doesn't make any sense.
I can
don't
tell you why.
know.
So I'll tell you a
I don't
story of
know
a
what
woman.
your
I'll tell
political
you.
views are.
I'll tell you.
Shut your damn mouth and let them speak. God, that's the most frustrating thing. God, how many times have you wanted to have a conversation with somebody? It's like every time you start to present a fact, someone speaks as if they know every word that was about to come out of your mouth. When you don't even know sometimes the next word that's about to come out your damn mouth.
I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story that you may not be aware of. All right. So there's a company where a woman, she was wearing a red sweater and held Veterans Day at every Friday to acknowledge veterans in her workplace. It was a little affinity group they created. That's what they called it. Now, there was an employee who said that he considered that to be a microaggression. The employer made her stop doing that. She said, okay, I'm just going to bring my red sweater and put it on Fridays on the back of my chair. The employer still stopped her from being able to do that, too. That's political discrimination based on this an anti-racist environment we've created in America. So the irony is, in
But
the
did
name
she
of
lose
fighting
her
racism,
job?
we've actually created
Was she
political.
not-
She
but
lost
she
her
was
job.
hired-
She would
hired
lose her
before
job
that,
unless she
though.
stops wearing
And
a
she
red
was
sweater.
hired
I think it's
before that,
wrong in
though.
America.
She was hired before that, though. So that means on the basis of they did not know what political
She was about to be
affiliation she
fired.
had.
She was about to be
But they
fired
didn't
for
know.
standing for
Your
veterans.
whole argument was that you are
There's
being,
viewpoint discrimination in
you
America
are
today.
There is. But my thing is, you are saying that you got discriminated against because, or this woman in this case got discriminated against because of her political views. No one knew her political views until she came in wearing red. You are making an
And she should
assumption
have, and
that
I think she
because
should
of
be
her
able to do that.
political views-
You can't go into work wearing the color red. So what about blue? Can you not wear blue either, or is blue acceptable? Like, are we just gonna say nope? You can't wear red or blue anymore, or white. You can only wear fucking green, purple, yellow. Like, what are we talking about here?
views,
And I think she
that
should
they
be able to do that.
automatically fired her.
Orange?
Or that stuff. They hired her because of her work ethic,
So,
because of her
let me
ability.
just share
I
something with
guess.
you.
I don't know who this woman is, but
Yeah, she's already making assumptions that this woman has good work ethic and has a good ability. I see some assumptions are being made on this end. I hate victim mentality. God dang, there's one thing that makes me want to like. Oh god, that was authentic as hell. Victim mentality. Mentality. Oh my god.
Are you a senior?
I'm a senior.
It makes
you're
me
a senior.
sick.
And what are you doing for work next? You're going to do a criminal defense attorney? You're going to law school?
yeah, right
Okay.
now I'm interning.
So let me just.
And I hope
let me
she
just
does.
share some
Because imagine being the defendant that has to go up against this. Whoo! I hope you're good.
with you, not as a matter of politics, but it's a matter of somebody who. I'm 39. I've had success in this country. My parents came from nothing. I've lived the full American dream, and I'm really grateful.
Fuck yeah,
for
Vivek.
that. And this is where I'm coming from when I say this. I say this
Big
to
fan
you
of Vivek.
just as a fellow citizen who wants to see you succeed and achieve your dreams. The more
That's what
you
I'm
view
talking about.
yourself as a victim, the more likely you are to be one. The more you view yourself as empowered, the more likely you are to be empowered. I want you to be empowered. I don't want you to see a world in which there's some invisible
it.
lines of hierarchy based on race or gender and that you're being discriminated against. Because the more you see the world that way, the more likely you are not to achieve your dreams. Versus if you look at the world and see the world that I see, and this is what America offers, to say that you have your own God-given talents, how are you going to be able to achieve the maximum of your potential? I promise you, nobody is going to stop you in modern America because of your skin color. It's
True.
just not going to happen.
They
So
do.
No, they don't.
Give-
No one. You know what? I'm not gonna say no. I'm gonna say 1%. There's probably 1% left on this, on in America, who's true American citizens who believe in true American values. That if you come into their shop, their place of work, and you happen to be a person of color, that they're gonna refuse your business. Sure. There's also 1% that'll, like, if you're gay, they're still gonna refuse your business. Like, there's still some ignorant fucking people in the world, but a majority of society wants to see, especially in America, we love underdog stories. We love people who come from nothing and become something. That's why we love hero stories. When heroes have face something that's so damning in their life that everybody else says, yo, that is enough for them to hate the world, for them to give up, but the heroes say, no, I'm going to become great in spite of this. That's the sauce, bro. That's the sauce.
Give me
But
one.
what
I would love to hear
like-
one example where you wanted to, where you tried to get a job and you couldn't get it because of your skin color.
Yeah, because
I'm
you're
sure
black.
it's true of
Come
people
on.
who lived in
Lay it
the
up.
1950s.
Give me an example.
I'm sure it's true of people who lived in the 1850s.
Now,
This is what I'm saying. We have progressively gotten better and better and less racist over time as a society. But the people who fall victim and the people who look for racism and everything ultimately become the biggest victims and the biggest racists in the community. The irony of it, and to me, it's so simple to see.
Also sure that doesn't
now,
exist
what
today.
you're telling me is that they're saying that I can't get a job based on my skin color. They're not going to outright say that because of different laws and policies in place, which is why the systemic racism is part of the conversation.
So look, I think that here's the thing. Here's the thing. In the 1960s, Martin Luther King said we want to live in a country where we're judged not on our color of our skin, but on the content of our character and our contributions.
Yeah.
We are 60 years
Yeah, but
later,
no one-
in
no
a promised
employer,
land
no
far
company has-
greater than
no
he could have ever
employer,
imagined.
no company
We've
can
elected a
come
black
up and
president
tell
of the United
you
States.
that
We've had a
because you're
black
black,
attorney
you can't
general.
have the
We've
job.
had
They come
black
up with
success at
different
every
reasons why
level
you
in this
can't
country.
have the job.
So at
They
what
can't explicitly say that because they'll get sued. They'll get different legal ramifications.
So she's the type of person already, so she'll get fired for like lack of performance, right? Or poor performance, not doing the job, not meeting up to expectations, and she's gonna look at that and say, "You're firing me because I'm black." And the employer's like, "No, you've missed every deadline since you've been here for 9 months. That's why we have to let you go, right? Nope, you're firing me because I'm black."
And that's where the intersectionality of the institutionalized systemic racism comes in.
So
because you
I-
can't blatantly say that. You hide behind
Here's-
policies
tell
and
me-
laws to say that.
Tell me if we can find some common ground, because that's my goal of being here. Do you agree with me? The best way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. Do you agree with me on that? Because I think I mean.
Why is
I
that
think
so
if
hard
you
to
wanna
say
stop
yes to?
discrimination on the basis of race. Let's stop discriminating on the basis of race. Can we agree on that?
You want me to agree with it? You know what? Fine.
So at least we
Because
can
it's
agree that's a
loaded-
principle.
It's a loaded statement, but okay, it's a loaded statement.
So I think that part of
How is
and-
it?
It's a loaded.
How is it a loaded statement? How is it a loaded statement?
And let me give you one. You gave me a little give. I'm going to give you one give too. All right. I'm going to give you one give too. I think that, and this may surprise a lot of people in the audience, but it's true, and I'm going to say it. In the last probably year, I think we have started to see something I never would have imagined seeing 10 years ago, which is the slightest uptick of actual anti-black racism in the country. And I'll tell you why we're seeing it.
How? We just
It's
passed
coming
the
as a
climate.
it's coming as a backlash to years of affirmative action. Because when you take something away from somebody on the basis of their skin color, there's no greater way to foster racism than to take something of value from somebody based on their skin color. And it's sad to see. I don't want to see that in this country, but the best way to get there is restore merit over group quotas. And I think there's no middle ground. Either you believe in merit or you believe in group quotas. You can't have both. I stand for merit, and I think that's better for Americans of every skin color, including black Americans as well. At my company, I found a multi-billion-dollar company. I had a black executive, okay? And I don't care about her skin color. It doesn't matter to me. I've had black executives at multiple companies I've built. I'll tell you a sad story that happened.
He just has executives at this country. Well, he just has executives. He had high-performing people. It's not about the skin color. At the end of the day, we're all human, right? We all bleed red. We're all made out of bones. We're all made out of flesh, right? We're all human at the end of the day. So I just want to be around exceptional humans who want to spread love, not hate, who want to make people laugh, not cry, who want to feel empowered, not the victim.
She got her job because she was good at what she did. That's why we recruited her. A guy who wasn't particularly as good at his job didn't get the promotion to the position that she held. You hear the conversation, what do you hear?
What am I saying?
She only got her job because of her race and gender. Well, actually, in her case, that just wasn't true at all. But the reason he's able to say that is because most other companies in the industry are applying racial quotas to who actually gets those jobs. So it's not good for white Americans or Asians. It's not good for black Americans either. What we need is colorblind meritocracy in America. And affirmative action, I do think, is the biggest form of institutional racism that exists today. That's what I believe.
Yeah, no, dude, Vivek is such a badass. I have Vivek, and is probably one of these newer political figures that have come out, and I am such a fan of his leadership style. He reminds me of like a Tulsi or RFK in the way that he's not antagonizing, he's not trying to be inflammatory, he's trying to find middle ground, he's trying to work with people, and if anything, do this so that the other person, if they're standing on a bad faith argument, if they're coming in just trying to dunk on you, they're coming in with just bad vibes, it's going to radiate and illuminate, and everybody around it is going to see it. They're going to be like, are you sure there? So we heard Felicia speak, so my final words are bye, Felicia.